into the application, you log into the application, and then you log out of the application. That means you are testing the login part of the application, right? So that means you are actually testing the login functionality. So when you test the functionality, it comes under functional testing. Okay, so the same functionality you can also test as part of your regular regression testing by using some automation tools like Selenium, Playwright or UFT or whatever it is. Okay, so coming to the non-functional testing, here the primary focus will not be on the functionality. Of course, functionality is very important. Without functionality, we cannot run a performance test. So the functionality should work as expected for us to run the performance test. Functionality is always important, but then the primary focus for every performance tester is you know is to know how fast the application is responding, or how quickly the pages are loading. Okay, so it's all related to the performance, right? So some of the tools that we use as part of our performance testing are like LoadRunner, JMeter, Gatling, etc., Neoload, etc. But of course, there are multiple tools available in the market. But LoadRunner and JMeter are most widely used tools in the market. Okay, so we'll discuss those tools related information later. But I'll tell you one generic difference between these two. So if you take an escalator or a lift, okay. So in some places we call lift and some places we call escalator, right? So you are on the ground floor. You are on the ground floor. You want to go. You want to test the functionality of the lift, right? So what would you do? Let's say you want to. Uh, you are on the ground. You are on the ground floor. You go inside the lift and you press three. Now because you pressed three button, the lift or an escalator should go to third floor and stop. Okay, that means we are checking the functionality, that if you press three button, is it going to third floor or not, is what we are checking. Okay, now when it comes to the non-functional testing, okay, again you go inside the lift and press three button. Okay, this time you're not primarily focusing on whether it is going to third floor or not. That is important, that is anyways working, but the primary focus will be how much time it is taking to go to third floor. Okay, so the time is important here. How much time it is taking to go to third floor, how fast it is going to third floor is important for performance, right? So the primary aspect of performance tester is to know how fast or how quickly, uh, from a software application perspective, how fast or how quickly the pages are loading. Same thing in general, I just mentioned how fast or how quick the lift or an escalator is going to third floor. Okay, the time is important. Okay, now one more important thing with respect to performance testing is, again, with respect to an escalator or lift, if you are alone, okay, inside the lift, if you are the only one who is going to third floor, okay, then how much time it is taking. When the lift is of full capacity, like, every lift or an escalator has some capacity, right? So 8 members or 10 members or 500 kgs or 500 lbs, like that, right? So what if the load is full? That means what if the number of users are full, like 10 users or 8 users are inside the lift, and then click three button, how much time it is taking to go to third floor is important. Because if you are going alone, you are not actually doing the performance testing, because when you're doing performance testing, you should apply some load. What is load here in general related to the example which I told? The load is nothing but the number of users inside the lift. If the number of users are full, or if the lift or an escalator is full, okay, then how much time it is taking to go to third floor is important. Okay, so in a software terminology as well, if you want to test the performance of an application, you should apply some load. Without applying any load on the application, you cannot call it as a performance testing. For example, you are using some bank application. If you are the only one user who is accessing the application, it doesn't make sense, right? So for a bank, there will be some number of users, okay, like 100, 200, 300 or 500. When all those users are active, okay, performing some different actions, okay, like, so then you have to, like, in that way or in that approach, you have to do performance testing. Okay, always remember, there should be some load that is applied, okay, on the software application. Without any load on the software application, you cannot call it as a performance testing. Okay, so by now everyone understood like what is performance testing. In simple terms, it is like checking the it is like checking the here I'll write it. Okay, checking the performance of an application by applying load. What do you mean by load? Load is nothing but the number of users. Then you're checking the application performance of an application, like how fast the pages are loading, and all that stuff. So this is a general definition which I told. I'm not telling you any textbook definition because that's of no big use. You need to understand the concept, right? So that's the reason I'm writing it in a more generic way, simple way. So checking the performance of an application by applying some load. Okay, load is nothing but number of users. Okay, so if you are going alone in the lift or an escalator, again it doesn't make sense. If the load is full, if it is of full capacity, then how the lift is or an escalator is performing, that is important to us. Okay, so by now you understood, hope you understood the basic definition of performance testing. Then why performance testing is important then? What if performance testing is not done at all? So without performance testing in any project, okay, there's a real chance, okay, that the business will get impacted, okay, especially the financial aspect of the business will get impacted for sure. For example, I'm not sure how many of you remember, in 2013 or 2014, for the first time, one of the major e-commerce application, they announced a festival sale or a big sale. Okay, they announced a festival sale or a big sale for the first time. So in a normal days, let's say 10,000 or 20,000 users access the application. On a big sale day, let's say 1 lakh or 100k people accessing the application, right? So it makes, there's a huge difference in terms of number of users from a normal day to the big sale day, right? So because they are doing it for the first time, they were doing it for the first time, so they couldn't handle the load. They didn't expect, okay, that these many users will access the application. They did not check or verify the performance with those many users. That's the reason the application crashed. That means the very first big sale or festival sale was not a successful one. From next year onwards, I think from 2015 onwards, every time they announce a big sale, I don't think that we have seen any issues in terms of performance, because from then onwards they are taking care of it. So every application has to undergo in a performance testing phase before going into production. So if you don't do any performance testing for that application, there is every chance that the application might face some performance issues, which will eventually result in the business loss, I mean the financial loss. Okay, that's what I mentioned here. If performance testing is not conducted, then applications might face problems like slowness, I mean the pages loading forever, inconsistency, and may further result in business loss. Okay, so hope everyone understood the importance of performance testing. So right, for example, you are sending some email, you are using some email, you are continuously sending some emails, you have been using it. Now while attaching some attachments, it is taking a lot of time. Okay, so you are attaching like 3-4 attachments to the email that you want to send, but it is taking a lot of time to attach the attachments. Okay, so one time you can wait, second time you will, you have some patience, three times, four times, like that you will wait, and you think that, hey, this is enough, this application is not allowing me to add any attachments quickly, it's simply waste of time, I will switch to another application which will provide the same features, right? Of course, in the market there are many competitors, so everyone doesn't want to lose users, right? So the market is something like that. If a user is not satisfied with the performance of the application, the user is switching to different application, right? So it's as simple as that. Every one of us does the same thing. Like if we have some issues in terms of performance, okay, accessing the application and or page or application loading forever, application loading very slowly, we one time, two times, three times we will wait and watch. After that we'll switch to another application which is providing the same features, right? We have a lot of competitors nowadays for in every field. Okay, so if one application is not performing well, you always have an option to choose another. That's how it is. So hope everyone understood the meaning of performance testing. Any questions? Right?
Yes, Kaushik. One small query,
Yeah.
Kaushik. So when we say performance testing, it is it like always be measured against users also only, or we can say the performance can be measured in different parameters as well. Do we have any other parameters,
Yeah,
or is
we
just
do.
against users?
Yeah, we do have other parameters as well, like number of page views, number of page
Yeah,
hits, like number of hits per second and all that stuff. But at a high level, it
it's
is
user.
actually
Okay.
measured in terms of users. Yeah, but there are other parameters as well. If you want to run a performance test, it depends on what is the input that you are getting from client. So yes, but for your question,
So
yes, there are some
yeah,
other
so my
parameters.
question basically for load runner perspective, like do you have like load runner having this capabilities of testing
Yes, yes,
some other,
yes,
right? Okay.
yes, yes. So so in short, if I have to tell, it's basically a general concept. It's not specific to load runner. The
Yeah.
question which you
Okay.
asked, it's a common performance testing concept which can be implemented across various tools. Okay,
All right. Okay.
so yep. Yep.
Thank you.
So yep. So we hope we are good with the first point of our today's agenda. So because we are dealing with load runner course, I would like to give you a brief introduction about the architecture. What are the different components of load runner architecture and how this tool works? Okay. So by looking at this slide, I'm sure you will get some idea. So to understand load runner architecture, uh, okay, let's try to understand the architecture by deriving, or let's derive the architecture uh, based out of some questions. So for example, you have one application. Let's say it is a bank website. Now, if the client wants you to do a performance testing for this bank application, some XYZ, with 500 users, okay, that means client expectation is when 500 users are accessing the bank application, how the application is responding, how much time it is taking for the pages to load. That's the client expectation. Now, how do you test this being a performance tester? Will you bring 500 users, give them 500 laptops or desktops, and ask them to log into the bank application and then parallelly backend verify the metrics how it is performed, how the application is performing? Is it possible?
No.
No, right? I mean, even if it's possible, but what if I ask you to test with 5,000 users? Will you bring 5,000 users and give 5,000 laptops? No, right? So
No.
there should be some component within the architecture which should allow to create a virtual users, and those users will mimic a normal human actions, something like button clicks or entering a text or selecting a value from a drop down or whatever it is. So the component which is responsible for creating or simulating a virtual users, and those virtual users mimic human actions, okay, that component is called load generator. So there is a component called load generator which is primarily responsible for simulating virtual users, and these virtual users are responsible for generating the running the test with the given number of users. So load generator is responsible for generating the load. When I say load, the number of users, and these users will take care of the execution and all that stuff. And these load generator machines are like highly configured machines, some highly configured machines, okay, and like 16 GB RAM, 32 GB RAM, like that, okay, because when 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 one machine, one load generator machine, if it wants to generate a huge number of users, virtual users, it needs some good amount of memory. Then how many users a single load generator machine can generate, that we can discuss later. It depends on various factors like the protocol that you are using, the number, the script complexity, the number of steps that you are executing, and so on. We'll discuss that later. But all in all, load generator is a component which is responsible for simulating virtual users, okay, because we cannot generate real users, we cannot create real users, we have to rely on the virtual users concept. Okay, now the users are ready. Then what do you want to test? For which functionality you want to do performance testing? For example, you go to bank and you transfer money, right? That is one of the critical scenario. So here I write transfer money is one of the critical scenario, right, for any bank application. So what are the steps that we generally execute manually? Launch application, log into the application, navigate to accounts, let's say savings account, select a beneficiary, okay, enter amount, and let's say click transfer button, then log out. So don't you think that these are the steps that we need to execute for transfer money scenario? So in a bank application, one critical scenario is transfer money, right? For which you cannot have any performance issues in real time. If you have any performance issues in real time for these sort of important scenarios, you will have a direct impact in the business loss. Okay. So one such critical scenario is transfer money. So what are the steps that we generally do manually? Launch application, log into the application, navigate to savings account, select the beneficiary, enter the amount, click transfer, and then log out. Now, how do you make sure that the virtual users are executing these steps? How do you make sure that virtual users are executing these steps? Okay. How do you make sure that virtual users are executing these steps? So there is a component called Vusion. Okay. There is a component called Vusion, which is used to simulate the or generate the script. Okay. Which is used to generate the script, okay, for which steps it will generate. It will generate for these steps. So whatever the steps that I want to run as a user, for those steps I will use a component called Vusion to generate the script, or to develop the script, to record the script, or to enhance the script, like that. Okay, so there is a component called Vusion. There is a component called Vusion which is primarily used to generate or develop the scripts for critical functionalities. Can anyone tell any other critical functionality of a bank application? Can anyone tell any other critical functionality of a bank application apart from transfer money?
Withdraw or adding money, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Or
Yeah,
it's
maybe
a similar
transfer
but
money.
different one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, maybe downloading credit cards, downloading statements, paying credit
Yeah.
card
Yeah.
bill. All those are critical, right? You cannot
Yes.
have any performance lags in those kind of scenarios. Uh,
Yeah.
so generally, as a performance tester, we focus on critical scenarios. Okay, so if client is not insisting or requesting us to test any specific scenarios, in return we ask what are the critical scenarios for this application, and we take them as priority for our performance testing. There will be some non-critical scenarios also, like for example, for a bank application, changing user password is not that critical because not every user will change password every day, right? So but they can transfer money frequently, right? They can do some UPI transactions also, that is also one transaction, right? So kind of transactions. So what I mean to say is these sort of critical scenarios, like I'll tell you other two scenarios also I told you, right? Let's say the other one is download statement, comma, other one is pay credit card bill. Okay, pay credit card bill.
Yeah, we're
All
doing
the,
FD or adding new FD or RD, everything.
yeah.
Just mostly
So
the regular
so
transactions.
yeah, so you have to generate scripts for these critical scenarios. So you have to generate scripts for these critical scenarios. Okay. So 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 which component we have to use to generate scripts or develop scripts for these kind of scenarios? Vuegen. Okay, so Vuegen is something which we use for generating the script and or developing the script or enhancing the script, record and enhance, and then that script will be run by the virtual user again and again for n number of times. I can run the same flow for 1,000 times. I can run the same flow for 10,000 times, like that, depending on my requirement. So a virtual user can run the same flow again and again for n number of times, right? So your script has to be so stable and enhanced to a good extent that even if you run for multiple iterations or multiple times, it should not fail. Okay, so that is
So,
our
Kaushik,
responsibility.
are we saying that we are creating a single script for first user and we are asking Vusion to create other 10,000 replicas for that user? And
No,
okay,
we are creating a script and so so what exactly will it will happen is this will create this script, let's say, and here there are, no, this will generate some 100 users. Now
okay,
these 100 users will go and execute these steps.
got it. Okay.
Okay, so they might not do it simultaneously, but they will do it, with little gap, with little time gap, like few seconds of gap, one after the other. They will start and continue the those steps execution.
And we can decide that gap, right? Maybe
Yeah,
5 second, 10 second.
yeah, we can decide. Yeah, we have. So how do you want to run the test? We can control everything. Yeah.
Why I'm asking because just give an example of a booking a railway ticket for Tatkal. You
Okay.
cannot expect user will log in within 5 or 10 seconds. It's within microsecond. People just hit that website
Correct.
just to get the tickets, right? I'm just
Correct.
getting that example. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So basically, majority of the applications, all users will not log in at the same time. Okay, so let's say you have bank application, so application will be open up and running, right? So some users will log in
Mhm.
at 10 o'clock, some users will log in at 10:15, some users will log in at 10:30. It's up to them, especially when there is a tatkal kind of thing. Those kind of scenarios, all users will try to log in at the same time, but eventually there will
Correct.
be micro s- you know second difference,
Exactly.
microseconds,
Mhm.
milliseconds, sorry, not micro, milliseconds difference, but yeah, more or less at the same time. So we can create that kind of scenario, or we can create other kind of scenario, like we can create both kind of scenarios and run the performance test depending on how the application is used in real time.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, so now when you have these users ready, when you have these scripts ready, what is the next thing? So the next thing is, next component is either controller or performance center, or we can also call LRE nowadays. So what we exactly do is, the scripts that we develop in Vusion, the scripts that we develop in Vusion, we upload it here and create a type of scenario that we want, like a load test, a stress test, an endurance test, okay, or a scalability test. We create a different types of scenarios here for these scripts, and we decide how many number of users that we want to use here itself, and then we can trigger the execution. I'm not saying the execution will happen here, but we can trigger the execution. Okay, now once you trigger the execution, what will happen? All the scripts that you upload here and whatever the configuration you do, like what type of test you want to run with how many users and all that stuff, each and every information will be transferred to these machines. Okay, and here the actual execution happens with the number of users it generate, and as the execution is happening or in progress, the data will travel to and fro between these two. So once the execution is happening, the results will also be has to go back, right? So the results will be traversed back, and This activity will be taken care by something called agent process. Okay, in short, I'm writing AP. Agent process is something which will take care of the data exchange between controller and load generator. Okay, so whatever the scripts that you upload to controller, okay, those will be transferred to load generator machine. Those will be transferred to load generator machine. Okay, those will be transferred to load generator machine, and the results will be returned back to controller or performance center, and it will be taken care by agent process. Now, can anyone tell where exactly the execution is happening? Where exactly the load test execution is happening?
Generator,
Load
I
generator.
think. Not sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Now, once the test is done, obviously there should be some component for us to analyze the results, right? That is analysis. So analysis is a component which is primarily used for analyzing the results. Okay, which is used primarily used for analyzing the results. And this component is obviously a very good component. It contains a lot of features of graphs, good results, graphs, and everything. So by which we will be able to analyze the results easily, and we should be able to tell the client like what went right, what went wrong during the performance test, what are your observations or concerns, right? Of course, the usage of this tool is very minimal nowadays because of the introduction of some APM tools like Dynatrace, AppDynamics, and all. The 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 usage of this analysis tool is very minimal. Of course, it is important to analyze to get some initial understanding of what went right and what went wrong, but the more deep dive analysis and the more in-depth analysis are done using APM tools like Dynatrace, AppDynamics, Datadog, Neuralink, etc. Okay, the most widely used APM tools are Dynatrace and AppDynamics. Of course, if you ask me anyone, it is Dynatrace. Okay, Dynatrace is most widely used tool in the market, APM tool in the market nowadays. So hope you got some idea or clarity about the LoadRunner architecture. So
Kaushik, just maybe within 1 minute we can
yeah, yeah,
have a
no problem,
revision.
no problem.
First, Vusion will come into the picture, which will create a script first, right?
Correct, correct.
Then controller, which will run the script, right?
Which will
Maybe thou.
which will in controller we will create a scenario, and we will
Oh
decide
yeah,
what type of configuration we need to do, like with how many users we want to run, for how long we want to run, and all that stuff. And then
all right.
we trigger the execution. Okay, it's just a triggering point, but the
Yeah, and
actual
then load them.
execution
Okay.
happens on the load generator machine. Okay,
Okay.
because
Okay. Okay.
that's where the users are generated. Okay, the users will be there. So where the users are there the execution will happen.
Okay. So control is like behaving like a cucumber, having just scenarios. What
Correct,
we need to. All
correct.
right.
Okay, so here in the analysis, obviously it will give some detailed analysis of what went right and what went wrong. So all in
And we
all,
can export that.
yeah, you can export. Yeah, there are a lot of options. Yeah, in fact now with APM, you have many more options to tell client, clearly that what are your observations and concerns. So nowadays it became easy for performance tester to analyze. Not easy, taking less time to provide our observations and concerns. Okay, if there are any major issue, doing a deep dive analysis might take little bit time here and there, connecting with developers and all that stuff. But then in any other test, providing your normal observations and concerns is pretty easy. Okay,
Yeah.
so
So if you want to know about the CPU utilization and all other things like yeah, using analysis, it it tell us like the response time and transactions per second and all that, right? So if you want to know about the CPU utilizations and heat memory and all that, so
mhm.
what else we have to like what tool we have to use? Like developers will tell about that one, right? So generally, what developers use in the back end.
Yeah, basically nowadays developers are also using these APM tools, and it's a common tool for everyone nowadays in most of the projects. So now APM tool is something like it will give you, yeah, as you said, at an infrastructure level, it will give you what is the CPU utilization during the load test, during the performance test in fact, for today. So what is the memory utilization for the during the load test, and like what are the how many requests are received by each servers, how many responses were sent, okay, how much time it has taken, where exactly there are performance issues, what is the root cause for performance issues, is there any SQL query which is taking long time, is there any Java method which is running very slow. So okay, uh, like all these various metrics, okay, in fact lot more, all these type of various metrics can be fetched by APM tool, like Dynatrace or AppDynamics, and you can send a clear email report to client. So what you can do is when you send a final report to client with all your observations and concerns, we will take some data from analysis and we will take remaining data from APM tool. In that way, we are covering both. Okay.
Okay.
Apart from that API tool, can we cover as part of analysis?
Analysis we can cover, but to some extent, not in depth. Okay. So earlier we used to rely on some Unix boxes. We run some commands and see CPU utilization and performance, sorry, memory utilization and all that stuff
Mm-hmm.
directly connecting to server boxes. But that's an old trend, right? So nobody is using that approach. Everyone are having some sort of tools, like we are using, like so many are there, like APM tools. In fact, if not APM tools, we can use, if it's just a microservices application, okay, you can use like some tools like Grafana, SolarWinds, okay, like you can use any, if it's if it's an Kubernetes architecture, you can use, I mean, if they are using any OpenShift platform like that, you can access, log into OpenShift and see how much pod utilization, pod memory utilization, pod CPU utilization are being used and all that stuff. Of course, in fact, all of these without APM tool. So with APM tool, it's a one stop where you can monitor each and everything. For example, if I install my Dynatrace in my laptop, it will tell each and everything that is happening in my laptop, like what are the uh, you know what are the different applications that are running on my machine, is there any application that recently crashed, okay. So if I want to specifically know about one application, that application server CPU utilization, memory utilization, everything you can get, like how much time it is taking to load the browser on the UI, okay. Now Dynatrace is little bit more advanced, like it will also give you some additional information, like how much time it is taking for the user to see the page load, okay, from a human eye perspective. So you click a button, from a human eye perspective, how much time it is taking for a human eye to know that, okay, this page has loaded. Like there are some metrics like that. For example, if I say 0.5 seconds for the human eye, so that means when I click a button, for my eyes it took like 0.5 seconds to see that the page has loaded. How it is calculating, again, as I said, all these tools are um, being implemented, or integrated with some AI related AML and all stuff. That's the reason they are coming up with lot advanced features nowadays. Okay, so I'll show you those
Okay.
options in
For that
Dynatrace.
one, yeah, thanks for that. For that one, we need to create another like a true client scripts, right, in the performance. If we
uh,
want to trace all our actions into the Dynatrace tool.
uh, yeah, actually, two things. One is, if you want to know the browser rendering time, yes, you can use a true client protocol, but that's
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying. So with introduction of APM tools, these tools are giving um, some information about how this application is being performed at a browser level or a UI level, even without true client protocol. Okay, so so I so I'll tell you a few things, when we do go with practicals. I'll tell you how can we generate those front-end browser metrics on the APM tool without
Mm-hmm.
using without using true client. But yes, from your point of view, uh, without APM tool in place, if you want to know how much time it is taking for the front end or the browser to load, then we need to use some protocol called true client. That is with respect to LoadRunner. In
Yeah,
J,
load runner.
okay, but by default we don't use that protocol. We use only if it is necessary. I'll tell you the reasons. It has its own advantages and disadvantages. But if you see, even if you see the other tools like JMeter, even JMeter doesn't give you browser metrics right away. JMeter also will give you server side metrics by default. If you want to know the browser side metrics by using JMeter tool, probably you have to integrate it with with some tool like Selenium. Okay, so when you
Oh,
integrate it with some tool like Selenium, you can get some browser level metrics as well. Okay, but it's not default in any tool, because out of 100% performance issues, 80% of the performance issues will come from servers, backend servers. It could be application server or database server. Okay, so maybe in a day or two, I will explain you what is application server, what is database server, what is web server, how the architecture will be and all. But at a very high level, yes, to your point, yes, for load runner, there is a true client protocol which will assist us in getting browser metrics as well.
because
So
when we are creating the scripts, when we are
Mhm.
running the performance load scripts, the Dynatrace can't be catching up that steps
Uh,
and activities. So that's the reason compulsory we need to create the true client
Correct.
web scripts.
Correct. But there is one option, like for example, that's why I said uh,
Mm-hmm,
it may not give a complete data with full load, but
mm-hmm.
when you open the application and you randomly click, like few links quickly, like 50
Manually, right?
100 times.
That
Yeah,
one, that
yeah,
one manually.
yeah,
Yeah, but
yeah.
where my asking the question is like when we are running the load test, it's not capturing the logs and everything
No,
in the
by
Dynatrace system.
default it will not give you the browser level metrics
Ah,
unless you
okay.
click it manually, like few random times to get some idea about how it's working. Okay,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
from a human eye
Mm-hmm.
perspective. Okay, but if you want to specifically apply a full load and then see how the front end browser is working, or browser rendering time and all that stuff, you have to use true client protocol.
Okay, through client protocol, it's not integrated with the 12.60 version for the load runner.
True client is always there. It's been there since last many versions of LoadRunner, but we are not using 12.6 anymore. I think 12.6 is almost stopped. I mean,
Yeah,
companies
yeah, it's
stopped using like
completely
three,
no,
four
no.
years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, okay. From which version it is working, true client, and from the after 12.60, it's working from in every version, right? Is
Um,
that right?
no, I mean, it was there in 12.5 also,
Yeah, okay.
12.5, 12.6, and after that, you got like 12.65, and then 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023.
Ah, okay, okay. Cool.
Okay. So, yep.
Thank you, thank you, thanks
Yeah,
for help.
sure. Yeah. So,
so in
yeah.
your course, so are you gonna cover like Dynatrace, Grafana related topics? So
Uh,
just to monitor the.
yeah. We are covering Dynatrace live session, and I will also give you one recorded session, or it can be a live session also, but I'll not commit for it because of some system tool conflict issues. I'm unable to handle both tools at the same time in the same machine, so I cannot commit on it. But any one of the tool I will take a live session. Mostly it will be Dynatrace. The other session, I will give you a recorded session from my previous batch. That is the AppDynamics. Okay.
Okay, so you're gonna, yeah, give the recorded session for the Dynatrace, not like Grafana and all, right?
No, live session for Dynatrace, a recorded session for AppDynamics.
Okay, okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. So okay. Yeah. So we are okay. 8:48. Okay. So let's do a quick sample record and replay quickly. So can anyone tell what is the component from the architecture that I can use to sample, record, and replay?
That then load generator maybe.
Vugen.
PC, PC
Vugen.
controller.
Ah,
No,
yeah,
no, no,
Vusion. Yeah,
no.
Vusion,
Vugen.
Vusion.
So Vugen is a component which I can use for generating the script, recording the script, developing the script, right? So simple record and replay, I can do it in Vugen, right? So for that, once you install LoadRunner, you get Vugen as a component. So simply hit Vugen, type Vusion, launch it. Okay, so it will generate the Vusion component like this.
So, sir,
Okay, yeah, tell me.
any programming language is
Yeah, I
required
will come.
for
Yeah,
this?
I will come to that question. Yeah, for sure, I'll come to that question in some time. Yeah. So now, what I'm going to do is, this is Vusion. I launched it. Now, what I'm gonna do, yeah, most of you know about the sample application. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to launch this, and I'm gonna log into this application like this. And once I log in, I will log out. So these three steps I'm gonna record and replay. Okay, so that you'll get a clarity about how the script might look and how it will be. So we can complete this in 10-15 minutes. So just be with me for few minutes more than than scheduled 1 hour, so that we can complete the entire demo. So once you okay, so once you are here, go to file. We'll discuss all these options later, but for now just go to file, new script and solution. Okay, so here these are all the different protocols that are supported by LoadRunner. But for any application which is a browser based application like HTTP or HTTPS, okay, so we select web HTTP HTML protocol here. So you can select the folder. Let's say I will give it as some folder name. I will give it as, let's say, August. Script name I will give it as demo. Okay, script name I will give it as demo, and click on create. So this is a protocol that I have to select for any web application. Okay, we'll discuss that on that later in detail, maybe in an upcoming session. For time being, so web protocol, script path, script name, that's it. Click create. Now it is creating a new script. Okay, so this is an empty script. Now on the left hand side, you have this solution explorer where you have different options related to your script, like passing different sets of test data, uh, different runtime settings. Okay, like declaring all global variables and all that stuff. We can play around with these options later. But on the left hand side, you have a solution explorer which is related, which has options related to your script. Now on the right side, this is the placeholder where you generate the script. That means once you record the flow, the script will be generated here, where you can start enhancing it. Okay, depending on your requirement. Now, how do you start recording? So you can simply click on this record icon as of now. Okay, otherwise you can click on record and this record option from here. Otherwise, you can simply click on this record icon here. So simply click on record, and then you see a pop-up window like this. And here you have to select, okay, ignore other options for now, but just select the browser that you want to, like Firefox, Edge, or Chrome. Let's say I'll select Firefox. And then you have to give the application URL here. What is the application that you are testing? That application URL you have to give here. That project URL you have to give here. Let's say that URL is this one. Okay. Now we will discuss remaining options later. But for now, I just selected Firefox and I have given the application that I want to record. Now, when I click on start recording, what will happen is this browser will be launched with this given URL. Okay, so when I click on start recording, this browser will be launched with this given URL. See, let me click on start recording. So now you see a Mozilla Firefox will be launched with the given URL. Just wait. See, a Mozilla Firefox is getting launched. Okay, and the URL will be loaded now. Okay, it might take little time for the first time, but then it will load. Okay, so now the Firefox browser is launched with the given URL, and then you see a mobile window here, which is pretty important and pretty powerful. Similar window we have in JMeter as well, but not as um, easy as this mobile window. This mobile window has a lot of features, easy to use. Okay, so now, so here you have, this is a mobile window. There are different options like stop recording, pause recording, cancel recording. Where do you want to record? We'll discuss this detail in detail in the upcoming sessions. Then you have like comments and checkpoints and other concepts. So forget about all those things. Just see this option now for now. These two are nothing but insert start transaction and insert end transaction. That means what is the next step that you are going to perform? For that step, you have to give a name by clicking on this insert start transaction. And once you give a name to the start transaction, go ahead and perform that on action on the UI. Like you enter username, password, and clicks OK or submit or login. And then once you are done, then this will be enabled and you can end that particular step. Again, start another step, perform the action, end the step. Start another action, start another step, another step, and that means another transaction, perform the action on the UI, end that transaction. Like that, you have to start the transaction, perform the step, end the transaction like that. Now, can anyone tell me if I do a mouse over on it, it says insert start transaction. Now, if I click on it, can anyone tell me what is the transaction name that I have to give here? What is the next action that I'm going to perform?
Login transaction.
Login. So for that, I need to say login. Okay, we have a naming convention which we'll discuss later, but for now I'm giving login. Now, don't click in end transaction. Okay, go ahead and perform the action first. Go ahead and perform the action first, and then wait for a few seconds until the page loads, and then click on insert end transaction login. That means you are ending the login here. Then again, start the next transaction. What is the next step that I'm going to perform? Log off or sign off, right? For today. So log off. Then go ahead and click on sign out button on the left hand side. Wait for a few seconds and then end the log off also. Now once you're done recording all the steps, stop recording and then it will generate the script for you. We will see the recording report later. There will be a recording report which gets generated, but we'll see that later. Now go to the action where the script got generated. Now you see some 50 lines of code got generated. Now quickly try to understand line number 18. Line number 18 says start transaction login. Okay, that means this piece of code generated when I clicked on insert start transaction and I have given a name called login, then this piece of code generated. If you see line number 37, LR underscore end transaction, this function or this piece of code generated when you click on insert end transaction for login. In between whatever you have, that is the request that got generated when you performed the actual action. That is, you entered username and password and clicked the submit button, right? For that action that you performed, it generated this request. Okay, you can see the username that I entered and the password that I entered. Okay, similarly, line number 39, LR start transaction log off. That means we are starting log off transaction, and LR end transaction is line number 51 log off. That means where you end the log off. In between, you have this request called web request, which got generated when you click on sign off button. On the UI, when you clicked on sign off button, sign out button, this piece of code got generated. Okay, so that means every action that you perform is enclosed within a transaction, within a start transaction and end transaction. So when you have these, then only it will be able to tell you how much time it has taken to execute the log off, how much time it has taken to execute the login, like that. So when you start, it will start calculating the time, and then this will go to server and you get a response, and then with the end it will stop calculating and then it will give you a response time, like how much time it has taken to execute that request, get the response from the server for that request. Okay, so we'll discuss that in detail. I just want you to have a good idea about how the script is getting generated. And if you see before line number 18, can anyone tell what is this? What is this all about? Can anyone tell?
Launch page request.
Okay, launch request, right? That is launch request. So then why there is no start uh, important theoretical concepts, very very important for interview purpose, and without this no interview will be done, so it's that important. And then you have this LoadRunner introduction, how to install, okay, what are the different components, how do you record replay, what are the different features, best scripting practices, okay, naming conventions, okay, multiple actions, recording replay, so many things. And then some runtime settings. Basically runtime settings are useful for record script execution purpose. So when you want to execute the script, you need some runtime settings to support, and it will take care of it. We'll discuss in detail. Then you have like two different modes of recording the script, HTML and URL based recording. Both of them have some advantages and disadvantages. We'll see that, and also we'll cover interview questions for every concept that we are discussing. We'll discuss the interview questions as well. Okay, and then checkpoints. Basically, checkpoints are there to make sure that we are uh, doing the performance testing for the right content or the right pages. Just to make sure we are not redirecting to different pages. Okay, just to be sure that we are redirecting to correct pages and doing the performance testing for the correct application and the right sequence. Okay, so in Selenium and other automation tools we call it as assertions. Here we call it as checkpoints. Okay, then the very important question most of them ask is, how much of coding is required? Is coding really required? For this question, the answer is yes. Coding is little bit required, but how much coding is required is like just like 3-4 sessions from my side. Okay. Now, if you can ask me, sir, is 3-4 sessions really sufficient for us to practice and for us to master the scripting? Yes. So when I complete this C language classes, once we move to LoadRunner scripting, and once we do end-to-end scripting on various applications, once we practice end-to-end scripting on various applications, you will only get to know that whatever I am teaching in the C language sessions, using those concepts only, I will be making you develop end-to-end scripts without any problems. Okay, so what I'm trying to tell you is, whatever the C language basics that we are going to learn, those are more than enough to develop end-to-end scripts for any performance test using LoadRunner. Okay, so that I can assure. So here we'll have like 3-4 sessions for C language introduction. It's very basics. We don't even learn pointers and all that stuff, nothing. Just variables, data types, if statements, some select statements, loops and conditions. That's it. Okay. And then some inbuilt functions like which are useful for script enhancements. Very easy. We'll cover that. And also some important uh, for interview purpose and for tool purpose also. How do you write data to notepad file, or how do you read data from a file, or some real-time challenges in scripting? Okay, because we always get this question, what are the challenges that you faced in your recent project while scripting, right? So these question and answers will deal, and we'll learn, okay, all the different challenges we'll learn together. Okay, and then there is important concept called correlation. I mean, I can say this is very, very important. That means if without implementing this concept, you cannot run the performance test. Okay, your script will not work basically. Okay, it's that important. At some point of time, you need to implement this in your script. Okay, we will take 3-4 sessions for this concept to learn. Then you have parameterization, where it is specifically used to pass different sets of test data to the script. So obviously, when you are dealing with huge amount of users, you need huge amount of data, and how to handle that data and all that stuff, we will use parameterization concept. So till here, the scripting part will be completed. From there, we'll switch to controller and we'll see how to create different types of performance tests like load test, endurance test, scalability test, stress test, and so on. How to create different types of scenarios, how to configure a scenario with different number of users and all that stuff. And then we do analysis, like we see different graphs, summary report graph, 90th percentile graph, transaction summary graph, HTTP response codes, throughput versus hits per second. There are so many metrics that this component is providing, using which we will be able to analyze what went right and what went wrong. Okay, and then we will analyze the results and providing observations. Also, we will draft email with all of our observations to client. So basically, this is something which I'm keen to explain, because once you're done with the test, with your input only client will decide what to do. So your input is very, very important. So how to draft an email to client with all our observations, what went right, what went wrong, observations, concerns, and all that stuff. Okay, adding all the reports as a proof. Uh, in this course, we practice on various applications, like 4 to 5 applications, because the more number of applications you practice, the more easy it will be for you to work in real-time projects. Okay, because every application might be little different. So the more number of applications you practice, the more challenges we are covering, the more scripting you do practice, easy for you to do the scripting in your real-time projects. Okay, there is some uh, concept called virtual table server, some utility. It's a separate topic, but yes, I will be taking one session on that, which is kind of an alternative to parameterization or the inbuilt parameterization. We'll see that later. So we have a session for interview question and answers. It can be 1 or 2 or 3 sessions depending on the user participation. For example, in the previous batch, we had like 3 sessions for interview question and answers. In the other previous batch, we had just 2 sessions. So it all depends on users participation. If they get, like, even they might have a lot of questions, they might gather it from outside and all that stuff, right? So if that is the case, we will take one more extra session and we'll try to cover all the questions. Okay, we don't leave any questions, okay, for the participant unanswered. Okay, so this is a course content at a high level. Apart from this, there are some bonus topics which I will be taking care. They may be out of LoadRunner, but very good, very important from interview point of view. So I want my participants to have some knowledge on these concepts as well, so that in the interviews they will perform better. Okay, so like Fiddler and har file scripting, APM tools, AppDynamics and its metrics to identify bottlenecks, Dynatrace introduction. Okay, so this will be a recorded session. This will be a live session. Okay, I'll tell you at a high level like how CACD is coming into the market with performance testing. So why performance testing is being integrated into CACD, why it is important, what is the current status of this in real-time projects across various clients. I'll discuss, and also we'll trigger a local scenario from the Jenkins, and also I will take one session on true client as well clearly in detail. We'll discuss about what is heap dumps, what is thread dumps as well. We'll also discuss about load balancer algorithms. Okay. We'll also, I will also give you a recorded script of connecting to DB through LoadRunner. So uh, I will give you a script where my script will connect to database and run the queries, update the queries or whatever it is, and find out how much time it is taking to run the query. Okay. And if there are any issues with database, we generally use API AWR reports, right? So in our session, this will be a recorded session where I explain what is this AWR report all about and what are the different database issues we identify, okay, in our performance testing concepts. So this, and this can be a recorded session for you. Remaining everything will be a live session. I mentioned recorded sessions of the REST services and all, but this will be a live session, and also a recorded playlist will also be shared. That means both will be given, live and recorded sessions. So all the sessions will be recorded and shared it to you on day-to-day basis. You can access it from anywhere, anytime. Okay. Any questions? And this course will be like daily class will be from for 1 hour, morning 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. IST. Okay, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. IST is like as of now 10:30 p.m. EST to 11:30 p.m. EST for the US timings. Okay, and 8 a.m. IST to 9 a.m. IST Indian timings. Any
How
questions?
long? That is the duration, the period?
Um, Actually, it depends on again batch to batch, but
Okay.
most likely it will be 35 to 40 sessions. Okay, for example, previous batch it was like 43 sessions because there were 1 or 2 interview question sessions extra for them,
Mm-hmm.
and 2 3 sessions or 3 4 sessions we had to go very slow because users had the participants had a lot of questions in between, where I had to keep it slow and explain them slowly to make them understand. So that's the reason like we had to take like around 5 to 6 sessions more.
Okay. If we miss the class, the recorded will be provided
Yeah,
us,
yeah,
right?
every day. Yeah, every day. By let's say the class is from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. IST. Most
Mm-hmm.
likely, the recorded session will be given to you by 12 p.m. or 1 p.m. the same day.
Okay, cool. No
Okay.
worries.
Yeah.
That's fine. Thank you.
Kaushik, like, how can I position myself after this course? Like,
Uh,
till what extent I can tell that I have experience in performance center?
Good question. So after this course, you can tell like around 4 to 5 years of experience, because the focus for this course is on practicing multiple scripting on multiple applications. So why did I stress that point, scripting on multiple applications? Because see, when you divide the job of a performance tester in your day-to-day role, it will be like scripting, executing, analyzing, correct? So executing and analyzing of a test is like little bit easy, in sense like anyone can assist you on that particular day. Like if you are stuck somewhere in terms of executing or analyzing, so any of your colleague can pitch in and just give some hints or tips, like 1 2 minutes you can catch up. But while scripting, when you face challenges, most likely nobody will help you, because scripting will take time, right? So why will your colleague do your job of scripting for 7 to 8 hours of your work? They will not support like that, right? So what I want is, because I've seen for many years, every performance tester, okay, with genuine experience or not genuine experience, that's a different case. Every performance tester has faced issues in terms of scripting, not executing or analyzing. Okay. So when you face issues with scripting, because you have some deadlines, so there will be one application coming to you. You have to run a load test after 2 weeks. So you have to complete all the scripts development in these 2 weeks. Make sure you have enough data. Make sure the environment is ready. Everything you have to take care. So scripting is where people will face challenges, and I've seen colleagues not assisting, or and these people facing challenges, issues, escalations, and all that stuff. So I what I decided is I don't want my participants to face issues while scripting, because nobody is gonna help them in that. So if you are facing some issues and in analyzing or executing, if you call me, I can also guide you 1 2 points quickly. No point, no worries. But if you call me on scripting, if you're stuck somewhere in scripting, I cannot assist, because it's not a simple task that can be told on call. I can try to explain different options, but I cannot make you to resolve that issue on call. So it will take time. Nobody will help you. So primary thing that you have to do is you have to master scripting. Once you master scripting, everything is like simple, easy cakewalk for you. So focus on
So
that.
everything we are
Practice more
doing in
applications.
our classes, yeah, everything we are doing in our classes will be like real time what actually
Yes.
you
So
guys are doing that, right?
yes. So what we are learning as part of scripting is, whatever the real challenges are there in different applications, what are the challenges that you face, all those challenges will be part of our sessions, live practical sessions. Okay. So once you practice different applications, you will see different challenges, and you will only tell me that, sir, looks like these are real challenges. Okay. From real time applications. So you will not have any doubt. I can assure you that you will not have 1% doubt also that, hey, we are left behind, or we have to learn more in terms of scripting. I'm sure 100% you learn a lot, and you learn a lot that is more than enough to do scripting of any sort of application. Okay. Now once you practice for 1 2 months, once you master practice for 1 month at least continuously, I'm sure you can do practice.
Mm.
You can do scripting for any application, anything. I can assure you on that.
Okay.
So
Conclusion
here,
is even
if
fresher can exhibit himself as a 3 to 4 years guy, correct? And
100%,
he can work.
100%,
Okay.
100%.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
so
Like,
here
go ahead.
you are saying that different applications means like both front end and back end applications, right? Back end applications means like web services and APIs,
Yeah.
where we
Correct.
cannot do the record and play. We
Correct.
have to use the WSDL files and or URL. We have
Correct.
to go
Correct.
over that, right? So you're gonna cover like
Yes.
100% on that topic,
Yes.
those
Yes.
topics, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Because if you see these 44 sessions,
Mm-hmm.
most likely we will cover scripting till more than 30 sessions. Okay.
Okay.
So you imagine the extent that we are covering as part of scripting, because you can talk to any of my previous participants, like, they are already, i it will be too much if I take if I take give some examples, but I can confidently say all most of my participants who are currently working, they are capable enough of doing scripting on their own.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Prashik, hello.
Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Uh, Actually, Isha said that me that there'll be classes of like 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. Was that a different batch or? Uh,
uh Yes, that's a different batch. Maybe that will start after a few days, because I'm in the 40th session, I guess, for that batch. So that will be done in another 2 3 sessions, and then the batch might start. I guess. I think so. I don't know.
do
It
we have
might take a time. It might take a time. Maybe it might take a month also. Yeah.
so do we have any other batches maybe after 8, because 8 a.m. looks like very early. So
Okay.
9, 10,
No, but
11 something.
yeah, unfortunately, no. We have only, as of now, we have only 8 a.m. and 9 p.m. batches. But 9 p.m., as I said, it will take time. It might take a month or so for to start, because I'm just in the middle of that. So it might take a month
Okay.
to start the new batch for that time. So as of
All
now,
right.
yes, yeah. Sorry, but we have only like 8 a.m. as of now. But you get a recording by 12 p.m., right? So hardly like 3 4 hours. Even if you miss a session on 1 or 2 days, you can just go through that session and you can ask the queries next day itself. You have that option, right? You're not completely far away or too far from the course. Class is at 8 a.m. You get the recording by 12 p.m. I think you should be able to catch up with that timings. Go through the recording, and if you have any questions, we can discuss live it next day. Okay, consider that an option, but yeah, it's up to you. Yeah.
What will be
So
the future for performance? Is there any impact due to AI?
no, no impact. So what I'm trying to tell you is these APM tools, they are being integrated with AI, right? So a lot of features are coming in. So the more options we get, maybe we might get some plugins from AI where we can use and explore or enhance or analyze the tools, analyze the results easily. I think AI will help us in assisting, finding out the root causes and providing our observations quickly. Maybe they can provide some plugins. Yeah, in that way, I think we should be good. But as I said, without performance testing, no application will go live. That is for sure. Okay, it can be any application. Take any application. So any gaming application, any banking application, any e-commerce application, any financial institution, anything. If there is a performance lag, the users will switch to another application. Okay, so they don't want to lose business. Okay, and personally, my suggestion is, you can ask me one more question, sir. Is LoadRunner enough, or should I learn JMeter as well? I suggest you to learn both because market is demanding both. So if you are learning one tool, complete it and learn another tool. Of course, it's up to you, but it's my personal suggestion, because every job opportunity or job description you see nowadays, earlier like 4 5 years ago or 3 4 years ago or 2 3 years ago, in fact, it was totally different. It was like they were focusing on only on LoadRunner, only on JMeter. Let's say one client will come to some company and say, hey, I need some resources on LoadRunner, I have a project. So this company, they will go to Naukri and they will project a job description saying that LoadRunner experience with 5 years and so on, so on, so that's it. Now they take interview on LoadRunner, that's it. Nowadays what they are doing, even though the job is on LoadRunner, they are asking you to have some knowledge on both the tools, because they want you to uh, you to work on you to work for different clients later on as well, where they might have JMeter as well. We don't know, right? So start with one tool. It's okay, any tool. Start with JMeter or LoadRunner. Start with one tool. complete it, and then switch to another tool. I have couple of few participants who joined both the classes at the same time, and they failed to learn completely both the tools. I'm sorry to say, but this is true. You cannot learn both at a time, because you can watch the videos of both the classes. Okay, 1 hour you can watch the video of LoadRunner. After few minutes, or you can watch another video of JMeter, but you cannot practice. You'll not have that much time. Okay, so start with one tool, complete it, and then switch to another tool. That is my suggestion.
Krushik, and one more. We have like one more tool, right, in our market, like Gatling. Was that different from these two tools?
Yeah, it's a different Gatling and Neoload. They are different tools, but they have very less share in the market. Like if you see the
Okay.
number of openings, just I mean, whenever you get time, you can also try. You can also go to now any job portals and see LoadRunner, JMeter hashtags, and you see Gatling hashtags. The Gatling hashtags will be very less when compared to these two tools. The market share is very less as of now. Okay, so
Yeah.
yep. So if you have any questions, right, further questions, yeah, we can discuss.
So
Yeah.
Krushik, so I hope, I mean, everything is fine from the script and execution perspective. I hope the dedicated sessions will be given for the like the analysis part with respect to the APMs. I mean,
Yes, yes.
not just the recorder.
No, no. We will have detailed session, right? So that's the reason I have couple of sessions also here. Additionally, analyzing results and providing observations, and then finally drafting email with all the observations, like what are the metrics that we take from analysis, what are the metrics we take from APM tool, how do we combine both and inform the client on what went right and what went wrong. So whether the test is a pass or fail or partial success, what. Okay, everything we have to tell the client, because based on our decision only client will decide, right? So it's not it's not uh, it's not like that. Analysis is very is also very important. So because it's a decision making tool, right? So but why did I focus on scripting is, analysis, right? If you have that tool knowledge of component knowledge of analysis component or any Dynatrace tool, that is enough. But the problem here in scripting is you tend to work with different applications. Like one application might be built on Java, one application might be built on .NET, the other application might be built on Salesforce. We don't know. So the different applications built on different technologies, different challenges you will face. Okay, so that's the reason uh, scripting has more priority for me. Analysis is also important, but it can be easily handled without any issues. Team will guide you on how to do that. Yeah, you can practice. Yeah, anytime. Yeah.
Okay.
So I have this interview
Uh,
questionnaire document also. So I mean, which I will share during the course interview question. So I prepared this question and answer kind of thing. Okay. All the LoadRunner interview question and answers. Okay. So all the scripting level questions. Okay. All the practical questions are also I have added. Okay.
So, Krushik,
So
do you mean that depend upon the project? If a project is implemented in Java, we need to do scripting in Java. If
no,
project
no,
is
no, 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 no.
or
Our script is same. So the
okay,
challenges is the way the script gets recorded will be little different. Java application script will be script recorded will be little different from .NET. Salesforce application script will be little different when we record. So like Java application will be little easy when compared to .NET and Salesforce. Salesforce and Pega applications recorded script will be too huge. Like little more lines of code will be generated for those kind of applications like that. Okay,
okay.
but other than that, from our side, it's same. So I'll give you this interview questionnaire document also. So on how this will be really helpful for you in case if you're attending any
LoadRunner is
interview.
like free tool, right? Open source, right?
No, no, LoadRunner is not open source. LoadRunner is a licensed tool. JMeter is open
But
source.
how we can practice
Yeah,
them?
team will guide you on that. They will try to assist you in installing the trial version of it. where you can run with minimal number of users, and that should be there for in your machine. It will not it should not expire, because I think trial version is still available for practice purpose. Yeah.
What
Okay.
is the laptop configuration?
Good question. So laptop configuration, minimum of 8 GB RAM. Okay, this is important. Remaining everything is fine. Anything is fine. So 8 GB of RAM, and Windows laptop is preferred. iOS has some issues, not able to install or configure as of now properly. So if you have Windows laptop, it will be good and easy, and that too with minimum of 8 GB RAM. So if you have only 4 GB RAM, it will get installed, but while recording and all that stuff, it is having a lot of issues. Okay. If you go to the official website and see the guidelines, they have clearly mentioned 8 GB of RAM as well. Okay. So yep. So we are like 1.5 hour. I'm okay to accept questions, but any other questions? So hope this demo session helped you a lot in understanding the tool, its architecture, and how it works. So as I said, session will be from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. daily, and recorded sessions will be provided. And I already explained you the course content and my priorities and my expectations, and how the participants will learn, and how much how how they master the course. So uh, thank you all for attending this demo session, and
Hello,
hope, yeah, go ahead.
hello, Kaushik. Today we have just record the one script, right? So for load testing, load generation, which tool we can use?
Same thing, the controller and the performance center we use, right? So the load generator machine, what I told you in the architecture, so
Mm-hmm.
it will be a machine, like it can be present in a cloud, or it can be a different. Even my laptop can also be a load generator. If you install LoadRunner in your machine, standalone LoadRunner in your machine, your laptop can also act as a load generator. Okay, I'll show you that practically. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So if you have any further questions, right, I will text you guys in the WhatsApp groups now after this course. Save my number. You can directly reach out to me. I'll call you back one to one if you have any further questions. Okay. So hope this session was useful. Um, so I hope to see all of you guys in the upcoming sessions as well. Thank you so much, and have a great rest of the day.
Thank you.